Good morning, everyone. David Paul here. I'm the Managing Director of VectorVest in the UK. And after a fairly strong down day, to say the least, yesterday, markets have bounced a little bit this morning. So let's have a look at the facts. So in the first slide, folks, that's the VectorVest Composite of the UK. It's a composite of all of the shares that we follow on the UK market, both the LSE and AIM, 2,200 shares odd. The red and the green triangle show our longest measure of the trend. They're called confirmed calls. And you can see the sell-off we had October, November, December 2018. The really good market in 19. And then, of course, it falling out of bed a few days ago. The signals did a reasonable job in getting our subscribers, if not out of the market, certainly not buying any more shares and watching their stop losses carefully. The sell-off has been vicious. This is the biggest sell-off in terms of both size and velocity. Only one sell-off since the stock market started, folks, has been larger with a higher velocity, and that was in fact in 1915 when the Lusitania was sunk during the First World War. So an unprecedented sell-off that's quite unique. Let's see what's going to happen. And for that, I want to look at the American market. That's in the next slide. And it's always been my belief that you can't do too much work on market breadth. And here we've got the VectorVest Composite of the US. Clearly, that's the candle plot in the top window. We've got a momentum indicator called our MTI in the second window, which is light blue. And then our proprietary market breadth, the VectorVest buy-sell ratio, the number of shares on a buy divided by the number of shares in a sell, in the green line study in the bottom window. And as you can see, as the price pushed up during the course of February, both the momentum indicator and, more importantly, probably the breadth indicator couldn't in fact register anything close to a new top. And in particular, the market pushed up in the US on negligible breadth, and a signal to sell, which is preceded by both momentum and breadth divergence, is invariably predicts a strong sell-off. I didn't think the sell-off was going to be this strong, but nevertheless, it normally predicts a strong sell-off. So let's have a look at where we're going to go. Markets are very, very oversold. I've never, in fact, in the US, seen them more oversold in my experience of looking at the VectorVest metrics. Sooner or later, we're going to have a very strong bounce. That's just a blow up, in fact, of the last few months. So to try and work out where I believe we're going to stop, I want to look at the S&P 500, an index that we're all fairly familiar with. First of all, that's the VectorVest advice, folks. On the 14th of February, we said bearish divergence that I've mentioned a second ago suggests that the downside risk outweighs the upside potential. And then on February 21st, we got the signal, and our advice was to customers to sell, sell, sell. And that was timely advice. This is on our program every single day. Let's look at the S&P 500. The February 28th low, which held until yesterday, in fact, was a 78% retracement of the range that started from June to the high of a few weeks ago. That broke yesterday. Where's it going to go to now? Well, if we look at a larger range in the next slide, we can see that I think that it's probably heading down to a 78% retracement of that range, which would also be a 127 expansion of the range between June to the high of a few weeks ago. 2,600. Where's it going to go to now? Well, I would expect that it's going to go back up and test the February 28th low. So short-term traders may have a window of 3 or 4 days of a push up before a final sell-off to 2600. In my humble opinion, if that 2600 level holds, then technically we're still in a bull market. I don't think it's over, but we're in a mega oversold situation. Sooner or later, we're going to get a tremendous bounce here. But far, far too early for that. I'll be on here a couple of times before the end of the month and I'll report on that. For a 30-day trial of VectorVest, folks, you can get it at our website, but come along and see us at the Master Investor Show on March the 28th. We'll be in Islington. We'll be there all day. I've got a speaking slot, and I look forward to seeing you. So I think a 3 to 4 day bounce in stock indices, maybe another sell-off to that 2,600 level on the S&P 500. Markets in a mega oversold situation. I think you should have your shopping list ready for shares to buy as soon as it turns. Thank you.